What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the channel. Today we are talking about the Pokemon, the Pokemyth, the Pokelegend, the Forgotten Gigantamax, my favorite fighting Pokemon, my go-to in Pokemon Unite, Machamp VMAX. So Machamp has a very good basic V that we're going to take a minute to talk about. So Machamp V has an attack Revenge Buster for a fighting and a colorless that does 50 damage and an additional 50 if your benched Pokemon have damage counters on them. It's a very good attack. It's one that we can pull off turn one, and 100 damage with a little bit of pressure is always nice. With a choice belt, we can get through an Arceus V turn one. Yeah, it happens every once in a while. I've played a couple dozen games, and you'd be surprised at how often it happens. It also has an attack Seismic Toss for 2 fighting and a colorless. Does 140 damage. So if Arceus ever abandons Dunsparce, you can go right through it because Big Charm is not going to stick around forever. Machamp and Arceus will last around the same time period, but Big Charm will not be around for much longer. So 140, you can hit into the Arceus VSTAR, trading 2 for 2, which is always good. But the star of the show, the 330 hit point undisputed champion, Machamp VMAX. So this is a card I've been excited for that I thought we were never going to get. Machamp VMAX also has Revenge Buster, but now it's doing 80 damage, and if your benched Pokemon have any damage on them, it's doing an additional 140. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that does 220 damage for 2 energy. That is a very efficient attack. For the longest time, 230 for 3 was the standard. Trinity Nova on Arceus V-Star only does 200, and it's 3 energy. 2 attachments, but 3 energy. Machamp just does it better and sets the bar. Like, it hits hard, it hits fast, it is a speedy deck. And if you need a little bit more damage, if 220 is not your forte, we have a G-Max Chi Strike for 2 fighting and a colorless, and it does 240. Your next turn, you cannot use G-Max Chi Strike. So we have plenty of damage modifiers, so if those numbers are coming off a little underwhelming, don't worry, they do get bigger. But you also hit normal, lightning, and some dark Pokemon for weakness. So we are hitting 3 weaknesses. We are the best offensive typing in the TCG. Dark, has its moment, but we hit a larger part of the card pool. Our engine of choice today, tried and true, Bidoof, 2 copies, and 2 copies of Industrious Incisors. This is a rotation-proof engine. I know, you can say, Brandon, whatever, I'm tired of seeing Bibarel, why don't you show me something else? It is a budget card, it does not rotate, you get multiple uses out of it, and there are no immediate counters on it. Jolteon from Vivid Voltage with the memory capsule has been locking people out of Inteleon engines. Cinccino Make Do is just more slot commitment, so yes, you can play it. It does have Call for Family, but it just requires more deck spaces. So it kind of takes away with what you want to do because those deck spots are used for 2 copies of Oranguru. So Primate Wisdom, once during your turn, you can put 1 card from your hand onto the top of your deck. So Oranguru plays into the deck strategy, the new pickaxe. It protects you from Marnie. It helps you dig a little deeper. If you have both, you can protect resources with it through Marnie, through research, through the pickaxe, etc. Oranguru is just better. So dedicating those 6 slots to Bibarel and Oranguru just feels better than dedicating them to, say, Cinccino Make Do, because you'd still want the Oranguru, and then it's just a bigger commitment to the deck. And we are going to play a couple one-of Pokemon. 1 copy of Crobat. So once during your turn, you can play this card onto your bench. Draw until you have 6 cards in hand. So Bibarel, Crobat kind of synergize together. So I always try to sneak 1 copy of Crobat into my Bibarel engines because turn 1, you don't have the Bibarel up, but you can get the Crobat down and push a little harder, help your early game setup. And that way we get our 2 Machamp Vs. Very, very good. Sometimes it doesn't see any play, but it's always good to have. 1 copy of Manaphy. I respect the Rapid Strike Urshifu. It's not going anywhere. It's such a well-designed card. Wave Veil prevents all damage done to our benched Pokemon. We're already softening them up. We can't give them free prizes, so we are going to make it a little harder. They're going to have to work through the Manaphy or get a little creative on how they're going to get through our bench. And then lastly, we are going to play one copy of Radiant Hawlucha. So it is from Astral Radiance. It has the ability Big Match. Your active Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon VMAX. So now Revenge Buster and GMAX Strike got a little bit bigger. 250, 270 is not too bad. Don't worry, there's more where that came from as we get further along. But let's start with the search. So we're going to run 4 copies of Quick Ball. Discard a card from your hand and reveal a basic Pokemon from your deck. Put it into your hand. It's just searching our basics, playing into our Crobats, playing into our Bibarel. Pretty standard stuff. 4 copies of Ultra Ball. I know Evolution Incense exists. Why don't you play that? It's a free 1-for-1. I am determined and terrified that if I do not get 2 basics down turn 1, I lose the game. I know if they go first, they will most likely have an attack going on their second turn. I want to have 2 attackers. Machamp wants to just be up and rolling, ready to go when you need them. So 8 outs to finding my basic Pokemon with the Ultra Balls and the Quick Balls is just a personal choice here. Again, it also thins your hand for Bibarel. A very, very good card. So it's just the way we're going. We're just running consistency here. Max counts. 4 copies of the new Gutsy Pickaxe. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting energy, put it onto one of your bench Pokemon. If it's not a fighting energy, put it into your hand. Remember that Oranguru we just mentioned? Gutsy Pickaxe, Oranguru, take an energy card from your hand, put it on the top of your deck. Gutsy Pickaxe, accelerate it onto your board. It doesn't just protect resources, it accelerates energy. This monkey does a lot of work in this deck with the new Pickaxe. It has a new tool to work with, and it is getting us going. And it's item acceleration, so we're not burning a supporter or playing a specific Pokemon to do it. Very, very good card. If we were playing non-Machamp attackers, the whole deck, if you've noticed, is a Machamp attacking deck exclusively. We would do that. But now we're going to jump in and try to speed things up a little bit. 2 copies of Switch. Switch your Pokemon. Reason being over Air Balloon. Machamp's a 3 retreat Pokemon, so Switch is just a little more freeing. 2 copies of Choice Belt. Another damage modifier, an extra 30 damage for Revenge Buster, another 30 damage for GMAX G-Strike. We're getting up there. So an extra 60 damage to Pokemon VMAX. 2 copies of Echoing Horn. Please do not try to play the 2-hit game with this deck. Do not. Machamp wants to knock things out with 1 hit, and 1 hit only. Pick your targets, use your Echoing Horns to bring stuff back you know you can knock out, and then knock it out. We are not playing the 2-hit game. If you're playing the 2-hit game, other decks will take advantage of that. We are a hit hard, hit often deck, and knock things out every time we hit. So Echoing Horn lets us do that. 1 copy of Ordinary Rod. Choose 1 or both. Shuffle up to 2 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. Shuffle up to 2 basic energies from your discard pile into your deck. Just lets us play a little more freely. I like getting stuff back. I like getting second uses out of things. I also don't like getting Echoing Horned, so I will put stuff back I know my opponent might be able to haunt me with. 1 copy of Hero's Medal. So the Pokemon VMAX this card is attached to loses 100 health and gives up 1 fewer prize when it's knocked out. You cannot attach it to a Pokemon with less than 100 health. So essentially, it lets us play 3 Machamps in the run of a game. Another reason why we're playing Ordinary Rod. So we go 3 prize Machamp, 2 prize Machamp, 3 prize Machamp, or any order of that combination there. So we can go 2 prize Machamp, 3 prize, make them play 8 prizes. They're not going to get through us just by knocking out exactly 2 VMAXs, unless they're playing Tool Scrapper and they're playing Weakness. But again, it's a cheeky one of if somebody doesn't see it coming. Open deck list, not so much. But locally, you definitely can sneak it in because they won't see it. And we're going to jump into the supporters because we're just kind of chugging along here. Professor's Research, discard your hand, draw 7. So we're playing 3. 4 is not necessary. 4 is kind of overkill. Sometimes you just need to dump your hand and keep going. Research is turbo. Research is the option. Ordinary Rod also lets us... Ordinary Rod, Oranguru, we can protect enough resources between those 2 cards. So we don't mind playing Research. 3 copies of Marnie. A lot of decks are not playing the monkey. We are playing the monkey. We can protect resources. Many decks cannot. So it's just funny shuffling, both players shuffling their hands, putting it onto the bottom of the deck. And then you draw 5, they draw 4. Sometimes they put their game-winning puzzle piece into their hand. You Marnie it away. And now you have either bricked them or you have bought yourself enough turns to take a few more KOs. Very, very good card. Our supporter of choice, though, whenever we can play, this is what we want to be playing. We want to finish the game in 3 hits. Boss's orders. So switch your opponent's benched with their active. Remember, 3 hits is what we want to try to do. 2 prizers or 3 prizers. We want to try to take them out as quickly as possible. So pick your target, knock it out. Echoing horn, pick it back, knock it out. Boss's orders, knock it out. We have our Gutsy pickaxe to accelerate, so we're not relying on any sort of supporter. That's the game plan. 2 copies of Raihan to stay within the game plan. So sometimes we don't have the Gutsy pickaxe, or sometimes we promote the Machamp a little early. So put an energy onto Machamp, search for any card from our deck, put it into our hand. Could be a metal, could be another energy, could be a VMAX. Essentially, Raihan keeps the momentum going. If they think they're safe by putting their Pokemon in the active, they're not always. Raihan is just there to keep us going. 1 copy of the new Grant, so it does 30 more damage. Your fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. Doesn't care if it's a VSTAR or VMAX. So now Revenge Buster can get all the way up to 280 on Pokemon VSTAR, which is pretty much all of them. Big Charm's not going to be around forever. You'd be like, oh, Big Charm, Big Charm. It's not going to be here forever. Grant will be here as long as VSTARs are here. It also lets us get up to 330 with the G-Max G-Strike, or G-Max G-Strike with the Radiant Hawlucha, so 330. Any relevant VMAX that's not playing a Big Charm also gets knocked out by that. Very, very good. We are then going, and then it also has the effect, if it's in your graveyard, or discard pile, different game, sorry guys, discard 2 cards from your hand that are not Grant, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can play Grant as much as you want or as little as you want, and you can dump it early for Quick Ball and Ultra Ball. It's a free dump. So it's always there. You never have to worry about it getting marnied. If you need it, it's there. Don't worry about it. It's a great card. So it's a math fixer. And we are going to play 3 copies of Gapejaw Bog. Whenever a player puts a basic Pokemon from their hand onto their bench, put 2 damage counters on it, it plays into Machamp's Revenge Buster, and it also helps fix our math for our opponent. If they cannot bump our stadium, they are softening up their targets for Machamp. So Revenge Buster could hypothetically be doing 300 if they take 20 damage. It could be doing 350 damage with G-Max G-Strike, and any sort of number there. So basically, Gapejaw Bog, Choice Belt, Hawlucha, Grant, knowing your numbers and knowing when to hit them. Very, very good in this deck. Again, we're very particular with our numbers. So Gapejaw Bog helps. And it's a very, very good stadium. I'm excited for it with another deck going forward that I think Machamp could also pair with. So no spoilers, but I definitely think Machamp and the new Hisuian Zoroark can see play together. So yeah, I'm excited for that one as well. And last but not least, we are going to play 9 Fighting Energy. So I know the arguments for Capture Energy. I know the arguments for Stone Fighting. Actually, I like Stone Fighting. But we're playing Basic Energy because Gutsy Pickaxe only accelerates basic fighting energy. Stone Energy doesn't count unless it's attached. Capture Energy is kind of a dead card after turn 1. We already play 8 outs plus the 4 Vs. So if you're not seeing your Machamp V off of 20% of your deck in that opening hand, I don't know what to tell you. It doesn't feel like you were meant to win that game. I've played about 3 dozen games with this. It is my go-to PTCGO deck. This and Ice Rider. I've been having a blast. The approach with Mew is you kind of have to hit first and hit often. Hero's Metal has kind of worked its way into the list because of the Mew matchup. So yes, or you just chase the Genesect with the Revenge Buster. So you go 3 Prizer, Boss's Orders, Genesect, then they knock you out. Then you put the Hero's Metal down, and then you use the Pickaxe. And then you go Pickaxe, attach, Boss's Orders, knock out another Genesect, and then go from there. It is a little brutal if they're playing Oricorio, though. So, like, we can't knock out a Mew VMAX, though. So, they resist, what is it, 30 now? Yeah, so they cap out at 340, Oricorio's 360. So, they are a little too big for us. But with the Gapejaw Bog, and they're not playing Oricorio, you can sometimes work through it. So Mew, minus 30, or minus 20, then Resistance, and then you just barely squeak in if you go Grant, Hawlucha, and Choice Belt. So, like, it's not the worst, but you should basically just be trying to hit as quickly as possible to smaller targets. Beat a few Duraludon decks doing that, where they thought they could put a big charm on a VMAX, and we just knocked out the Arceus and kept bringing it back for game. Very, very fun. If you like the list, make sure to, you know, do the YouTuber stuff. Like the video, hit the comment, leave me a suggestion on what you would clean up. I'm aware there's dark cards. Trust me, there was some dark stuff in the box to start, but we ended up cutting it to go for a more Machamp all day deck. And thanks for tuning in to probably my favorite VMAX out of Astral Radiance. And until next time, take care, guys.